Hey, what's up guys? Jackson here at Toasty DIY, and today we're taking a look and unboxing the Lomography Instant Square Glass. Let's go ahead and get into it. So if you guys haven't seen on Toasty DIY, we have a lot of instant film content, and this is a new one to me. Now, I do have another Lomography Instant Square, but it is the Diana, which is another really cool camera that I will say is definitely not for the beginner use. And this is the camera that I'm hoping will fill the gap because there's a lot of mini options. There's a few wide options, but then there's really not a lot of square options that are actually any good. So this is one that's gotten a lot of really good reviews. 130 bucks from Lomography's website. Let's go ahead and start unboxing it. So as always, Lomography with the really nice packaging. Here's the front. You can see we have some pretty cool informationals on the sides as well. We have some example photos, and then here, this is pretty cool. It actually kind of shows how the camera is compact because it actually folds up when not in use. So this is a pretty interesting design that's been around for a long time. Obviously, you really don't see it much anymore, except for the really cool retro companies like Lomography. So let's go ahead and get the top part out here. And I'm honestly, I didn't buy like one of the larger kits just because I found that I don't end up using a lot of the accessories. They give us our warranty card here that says warranty only valid in Japan. They give us a little mini manual, tiny little manual. Now on the top here, these are pretty cool. So if I'm not mistaken, normally what these are is they're gonna be example photos. So yeah, these are actually example photos, and on the backs of each card, they tell you how they actually got that photo. So these are actually really cool. They tell you how to do things like double exposures, how to do low light, higher light, all kinds of things. We have little pieces of cardboard that I almost want to say are maybe like stands, and then we have like all these little plastic pieces that appear to all be the same. I'm not really sure what they are, but we got like a bunch of them. These right here are different colors. I believe for like, if you want to do like the splitzer effect, it's only smaller than the Diana as far as like its footprint goes when it's folded up, but it still is a pretty big size camera actually. I gotta say, this thing actually has a little bit of heft to it compared to what I'm used to, and that's without any film loaded into it, so it'll probably get slightly heavier. But I think all the externals are plastic still. It's strange. Now to actually open this guy up here, so yeah, you literally just, there's no lever. You just kind of push, and then it does have a really nice sound when it snaps into place, almost like a ratcheting sound. This part's really cool. We have like basically a bellow. So this actually does not allow any light in, which I guess in theory this could wear over time, but I'm sure it would take a really long time. So this right here, actually you push this in, and that allows you to close the camera. Definitely a little bit smaller than the instant wide. To give you an idea, it's pretty close in size actually to this Fujifilm Evo when it's folded up. Well, it's a lot taller, but in terms of like the thickness and then the overall length, it's pretty close, definitely a little bit bigger. So this is pretty cool to change our focal range, which this is typical Lomography. It's going to be very trial based. You're gonna actually use this little guy right here. So it's pretty cool. You can actually see the lens move in and out when you do that. They only give us, I think, 3 options. We have infinite, which is going to be basically anything that's beyond a few feet. We have 1 to 2.5 meters and then 0.08 meters. So you can get fairly tight. You can get, it sounds like, within about 2 feet of an object, if I'm not mistaken. So that's all the settings we really have on the actual lens portion. Let's go ahead and close this up, take a look at some of the other parts. We do have on the back of the camera, we have a flash that we can turn on and off. We have the double exposure, that's what MX means. We have EV, which I believe is supposed to be exposure compensation, where you can probably change it up 1 or down 1. So if you're in a spot where it's really bright, you'll want to go down 1. If you're in a spot where it's really dark, you'll want to go up 1. We do have 2 different modes. We have A, which is going to just be like your auto standard shutter speed. B is probably bulb mode, which means unlimited shutter speed, where you can just hold the shutter button down, leave it open as long as you want, taking it long exposures. And then we have our, looks like 10-second timer, which is cool. It's actually built into the camera. And that brings me to one other part that's kind of cool about the camera is you'll notice right here where it says remote control. So this is actually a spot that slides out a little remote control. That's very simple. It's just auto and time. We do have some stuff on the front that is really doing some work for us. So this right here is our flash. This right here is our rangefinder or viewfinder. We do have a couple of sensors here that are actually light sensors. That's how it's going to do auto exposure, which I will say that's the one thing that the Lomography Instant Diana does not have is auto exposure. And that's what makes that camera really hard to use, but really satisfying when you do get a good photo. This one should be a lot easier because we have some of those auto settings. And then we also have on the back here, we actually have a port where you'll be able to see if your film is inserted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and before I put the batteries in, I'm gonna go ahead and insert my film to show you guys how that works. So you can buy these. This is typically how you're gonna buy Fujifilm. It all looks the same besides the size differences. So this is kind of in between your minis and your so this is an in-between size to your minis, which is this right here, and your wide. So you can kind of get an idea on the cartridge sizes of each. You're gonna line up, there's typically gonna be a yellow line in pretty much all these cameras. You're gonna line that up. Sometimes they just drop straight in, sometimes they go at an angle, and then just... Okay, that part's a little bit, yeah, it seems like we're slightly off. I did have to push up on the holder, but I mean, that's not a big deal. I don't want to open it and risk ruining the film. But so right now we're set to infinite. I am going to have to go grab some batteries. But one other note too is that this is automatically set to f10 aperture, which the lowest the Diana would go to is f11. And at f11 indoors, it was a no-go. You had to have the flash on. So I'm excited to see if this will actually take some indoor photos. And it's a 95mm, which is actually equivalent to 45mm in modern day. So let's go ahead and grab some batteries and put this thing to the test. So one quick note is this actually takes CR2 3-volt batteries, which I think that's a little bit strange when all the other Lomographys that I've had so far, to be fair, have taken you know, just standard, more common batteries. But the good news is we can get them from Walmart, Lowe's, wherever, so it's not a huge deal, but I definitely did not expect to have to keep another battery in the house. So, all right, we find ourselves on a kind of cold and rainy day, but I'm gonna try the camera out. I'm gonna get some outdoor photos, and I'm gonna do some inside of the garage as well. Inside my pouch here, I have a 3D printed instant square holder, which this is really convenient. I got one for every single size. I'm gonna turn my flash off. We're not gonna do anything with this one. We're gonna keep it on infinite. We're not gonna be using any exposure compensation. The actual photo taking button's right here. All right, before we take any more, we're gonna see how that turned out. That was just kind of like a front side shot of my truck with hopefully some trees and whatnot in the background. The thing I do like too is that when you close this, it actually covers up that glass lens, which that's really nifty. You don't have to put a lens cap on it. So just one extra feature that I like about this camera. This is always the fun part. If within, you know, maybe about like 10 to 15 seconds of taking the photo, if you're already starting to get a development, then you know you probably got yourself a good photo. Yeah, I gotta say guys, I mean, this is already just kind of destroying the Diana, which, you know, two totally different cameras. Diana is a plastic lens and it's meant to replicate a much older style. While this one is just, man, with that glass, it's just so clear. The aperture was perfect, the white balance, really everything. That was just auto and everything looks so good on this first image. So I'm excited to keep on going. All right, so after that first one turning out so good, I gotta try one inside now. It was fairly bright outside, but not really. I mean, kind of gloomy. So, all right, we're gonna try like another classic shot here, kind of going down the side, 1 to 2.5 meter to see what that will end up looking like. Which is surprising because honestly, I've not had a lot of luck doing anything besides infinite with most of the instant cameras. So like I said, I'm really loving this camera. I kind of want to do just like a big landscape shot now on infinite to see what that looks like. All right, just like the other photos I've taken, I'm gonna let the camera do its work. I'm gonna set the lens over to infinite. All right, I feel pretty good about that one. I was pretty still. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, see how it prints. Yeah, guys, I'm loving the images that this camera is producing. So obviously in the summer, I think we'd have a little more color, but it is interesting. The camera does, it doesn't do like the most amazing job at capturing color, but it's not too far from capturing everything true to life, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and see if we can find another photo to set up. All right, this next one's gonna be kind of goofy. I don't have a lot of pictures with my cars and I don't often take selfies anyways. Try out using the tiny little selfie mirror, which is this guy right here. It's really small, nice little LED indicators to actually show how many photos you have left. Really good feature. You know what, screw it. We're gonna try close focus and see what happens here. That was cool getting to actually see the shutter open and close. So I just did the closest focal point, which I'm normally terrified of doing. And we'll we'll see if my reasoning makes sense, but closest focal range. So I want to show you guys, after I gave this one here a few more minutes, we definitely did get some more color, better lighting, and honestly, the focus looks pretty much perfect on it. So now this one where I tried the really close focus, you can definitely see, hey, colors are good, lighting's good, but I am obviously out of focus. So I think I was a little bit too close. So that'd be a good example of maybe having a tripod and then using the button or the timer that's built into the camera. All right, we're gonna try to get a sneaky little photo here. This time I'm actually gonna use the flash, and we're gonna see how that goes. I have no clue if I got that before he moved, but we're gonna find out. So the first photo, he kind of turned and I did not get a good shot. So I went ahead and took another one off camera. This is same deal with the flash on, and yeah, this turned out really good. It's very in focus, really good color. It definitely did a really good job at kind of like vignetting and darkening the background. So I'd say that flash indoors gets a really good check as well. Well guys, after taking about 5 or 6 photos on the new Instant Square, I can definitely say that this is a new personal favorite. This is definitely up there with the Lomography Instant Wide Glass, and it'll probably definitely be replacing the Instant Diana that I have, because I just think this one is just a lot easier to shoot with. You get much better results, and really every single photo I took turned out pretty dang good. So I definitely like this camera a lot. I do highly recommend it at the $130 price point. So if you want to buy it, check it out down below. We hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out Toasty Bros, Toasty Clips, and don't forget to subscribe to Toasty DIY as well. See you guys later. Peace out.